Welcome, welcome everyone. I am Subhashish Chandra and I welcome you to our series Cosmos. In the past chapters of this series, we have looked into the Sun and its planets. We have also looked into the dwarf planets, the Kuiper Belt, and the Oort cloud. Today, we are going to look into the travelers of our solar system, that is, the meteors, the meteorites, and the comets which travel across the solar system and sometimes visit us as well. Let's start with meteor or Ulka as it is known in India. We are going to first try to understand the difference between the terms meteorites, meteors, and meteorites. We will use this particular diagram to understand it. At the bottom we have Earth, then in pale blue the atmosphere, and the dark pitch black is representing space. A meteorite is a piece of interplanetary matter that is smaller than an asteroid and is frequently only millimeters in size. It is basically space debris which can be created due to one of the three factors. The three factors are solar system dust, which was created at the very beginning of the solar system, fragments of asteroids, or the remnants of the visiting comets. These meteorites move around Earth, but when they enter into the Earth's atmosphere, they burn up and they create a beautiful trail of light. This beautiful trail of light is called as meteor or a shooting star. The word meteor comes from the Greek word meteoros, which means high in the air. Now, when a large number of meteorites enter into the atmosphere, they cause huge meteor showers, and these meteor showers typically occur between the altitudes of 80 to 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Although most of the meteors burn up in the atmosphere itself, there are few of the meteors which don't burn and reach the surface of the Earth. The meteors which reach the surface of the Earth are called meteorites. This is a Perseid meteor shower which was recorded in 2005. When there are many meteors on the sky, we call it a meteor shower. Some meteor showers occur annually or at regular intervals as the Earth passes through the trail of dusty debris left by a comet, or in few cases asteroids as well. Meteor showers are usually named after a star or a constellation that is close to where the meteors appear to originate in the sky. These are the major meteor showers for 2020. These are some of the meteorites that have reached the Earth. The Hobba meteorite on the left corner is the biggest meteorite till date. The Shergoti meteorite was found in Gaya in the late 1880s, and the Black Beauty meteorite was found in the Sahara Desert. When big enough meteorites crash onto the Earth's surface, they might create huge craters. Let us look into few of them. This is the famous meteor crater in Arizona, USA, which was created about 50,000 years ago and has a diameter of about 1200 meters. The next one is the Lonar crater lake in India, which is about 52,000 years old and has a mean diameter of about 1200 meters. It is located in the Buldhana district of Maharashtra. The next crater is the Fredefort Dome in South Africa, which is near Johannesburg. It is about 2 billion years old. When it was formed, it was about 300 kilometers wide, but over the period of time, with constant erosion, the present diameter of the crater has decreased to about 70 kilometers. The last crater on our list is the Chicxulub crater, which is buried underneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The crater cannot be visualized in originality right now. This is the artist's impression of the crater as it was formed when the meteorite impacted Earth. The crater is about 66 million years old and is of 150 km in diameter. The main reason to include this crater in the list is that it is believed that this impact was responsible or one of the factors responsible for the death of non-avian dinosaurs. Now let's move on to the next part of our video, comet or Dhumketu as it is known in India. The comet that you can see on the screen is the famous Halley's Comet, and this picture was taken in 1986. Let's look into the structure of the comet. But first, let's find out why it is called comet. The word comet comes from the Greek kometa, meaning wearing long hair. The nucleus is of irregular shape and is composed of rock, dust, and ices. The ices are chiefly of water and other gases like ammonia and carbon dioxide. The nucleus is seldom larger than 30 km wide. Because of the mix of dust and ice, a comet is sometimes called a dirty snowball. As the comet approaches the sun, it undergoes some structural changes. The heat energy from the sun causes some of the ice in the nucleus to sublimate. That is, the ice passes directly from the solid to the gaseous phase. The gases spread out around the nucleus, carrying with them some of the loosely bound dust particles. This dusty gaseous atmosphere is the comet's coma. It is chiefly composed of water and dust, with water comprising more than 95% of the composition. The coma can be thousands or millions of kilometers wide. As the comet approaches the sun, solar radiation causes the volatile material within the comet to vaporize and stream out of the nucleus. This stream carries the dust away with it. The radiation from the sun blows the dust particles from the coma to form a wide, yellowish and slightly curved dust cloud. This is the dust tail. The solar wind of the sun is made up of highly energetic charged particles. This stream of particles sweeps the gases from the coma in a different direction to the dust tail to form a straight, narrow and bluish tail. This tail is the iron tail, or it is also known as the gas tail, and this tail always points directly away from the sun. Let's look into the orbit of the comet. The orbit of a comet is highly eccentric. For a Halley-like comet, the perihelion is at about 0.6 astronomical units, whereas the aphelion is at about 35 astronomical units, which is close to the orbit of Pluto. The comet tails are produced through interaction with either the solar wind or photons of the sunlight. This means that they always point away from the direction of the sun, and hence after perihelion they lead the comet in its orbit. It is also observed that the tails get longer as it approaches the sun. There are two kinds of comets depending upon their orbital period. The first is the short period comet, which originates in the Kuiper belt and has an orbital period of less than 200 years, whereas the long period comets originates in the Oort cloud and have an orbital period of greater than 200 years. You can watch my video on dwarfs, where you can get a better understanding of the Kuiper belt and the Oort cloud. Before we end, let's look into the Halley's Comet. The picture that you saw before was the Halley's Comet from a distance. In 1986, the European spacecraft Giotto became one of the first spacecraft ever to encounter and photograph the nucleus of a comet. On this very note, we come to an end of the solar system part of our series. In the next part, we will move out of the solar system and we'll be looking into the stars of the universe. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.